I hope we've
Very,
learned that,
very
like,
true.
as a collective, like, as
Exactly.
a
From all sides, from all
yeah.
angles. Exactly.
I can tell you the irrationality is going nowhere, but I'd like to think we probably learned a lesson or two from the last couple of years.
No, if you talk to these guys, they don't learn too well.
No, dude.
They
No.
ain't the learning types.
Alabama
Speaking of
State
being
won, by the way, their first NCAA tournament game. Just a quick
good for
little
them. Good for them. Speaking of not being the learning type, there were several losers from this search. I will say, actually, I want to see where you guys go first.
Let me give mine because I
Pundit,
know
go
you
ahead.
guys are going to take it. All right, I'm going to give all three to you real quick.
Ooh, okay, yeah, rapid fire, and then we'll move
Jeff
on.
Rabjohns, Jeff
Mm.
Rabjohns, Jeff Rabjohns, and Jeff Rabjohns. That was four. I mean, what, I'm sure we all have to say something on this guy because he's very easy to pick on right now because he's made himself a massive target, no pun intended. And,
no pundit
dude,
intended.
no pundit intended by the pundit. That dude, he's been wrong about basically everything in this whole search process, right? All the different rumors he's peddling to the little rats of this fan base to go nibble up like fucking rat poison. It's despicable, honestly. And this is coming from a guy who grew up reading Jeff Rabjohns and was on Peegs on my dad's Peegs account from literally 2010 to 2020. So I loved Rabjohns growing up, right? He was the IU guy. He knew all the scoops. He had great relationship with the program and the players and the coaches. And it's sick to see that he has leaned into that grifting nonsense like so many media have in sports and not sports, and it makes money, it gets clicks. I'm not saying the logic isn't there, but like knowing from a once pretty, a guy with pretty good integrity to now peddling clear nonsense because he knows he's going to get paid those subscription numbers. He knows he's going to get clicks. He knows it's going to drum up business for him. And, not to mention the Hoosier hysterics. His little partnership with those freaks has, it's ruined his credibility for a lot of people in the fan base, no matter what side they're on. Like truly one of the most united I've seen the fan base over the last months in the basketball community is fuck Jeff Rabjohns. I see people that hate me tweeting that on Twitter. So, he's got to be the biggest loser. Hoosier hysterics are next to him just because they are fucking losers. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see, hopefully, his role reduce with this next staff. And I'm sure it won't, right? That's wishful thinking. Rabjohns has been around. He'll be around until he doesn't want to be around. But if what Rabjohns was telling people about Mike Woodson is true, it's also true about Jeff Rabjohns, which is an old, out of touch bum who shouldn't even be allowed to touch a keyboard, let alone publish stories on our program. And also get the hysterics out of my fucking program now. Now.
I don't think I have anything to add on the Rabjohns front. That was an
I'm good.
incredible rant.
He's not worth my time, to be honest.
Truly. I know. I shouldn't even have given him that
Well,
publicity, dude.
I like that you went scorched earth, and I can kind of just walk through and kick around the dust a little bit. But to pull back from the emotion side of it a little bit and just look at it from just a straight like love of the reporting game type of thing. You're right. Like when you look around the environment, like most people's information was for the most part, if it wasn't 100% correct, it was largely pretty accurate. Like say what you want about Jeff Goodman, say what you want about any of those other guys. It's like when they tweeted something and put some pretty strong language behind it, like it was pretty much factual.
Agreed.
And then you look at at least very recently, and the whole Bryson Tucker fiasco and that disaster, and just the fact that you could even put something
So
out like
bad.
that without double or triple or quadruple checking your sources, especially in a time like this when you know how, like, especially when you know how rabid your own fan base is and you know the criticisms levied against you, and instead you stoke the flames by basically putting a kid in the crosshairs when he didn't even come to that conclusion himself. And now
Yeah.
you put Bryson Tucker in such a weird place where, like, say that kid really actually wants to go in the portal. Like, he didn't have the best time at Indiana, like, and just for his own personal reasons, like, he feels like it's best for him to explore his options elsewhere. That kid's in such a tough spot right now.
He's gonna
Like,
get killed, bro. He's gonna get killed on Twitter. He's gonna get killed on socials by these fans because they're gonna say, "Oh, well, I thought you said you weren't leaving, or I thought you were not gonna enter the portal."
yeah, it's
And
like,
Rab Johns, he jumped offside. He jumped offside on someone's life, and
and he didn't have
it's
to.
he
Yeah,
didn't
that's a
have
good point. On
to.
someone's life, dude. Like,
And not just someone, like a freshman, like an 18, 19-year-old kid, like, his dad felt the need to fucking call Rab Johns out, like, I don't I truly it's crazy to see how
it's
much he's
disgusting,
fallen.
really, is
It
what it
is.
is. It's
It's
gross.
wild,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be a thing, and it
You
seems
just
like it's becoming more and more of a thing, and it's like, dude,
It's
just let people make their own announcement.
it's the bad part about
we
college sports where people forget that their kid's playing a sport and they just, jump the gun on these things and, project is basically what he was doing. He was projecting life decisions by someone publicly, which is insane to do. So yeah, that's I'm getting off my soapbox. You go, Keezer. I'm good. It's bad.
no,
Is my point.
yeah,
Yeah,
Can't
but
be
we
it's
shouldn't give him any more tick. Rab Johns, if you're listening to this, and I hope you are, we're coming for you. Not actually.
no,
Not
we're not.
actually. We're metaphorically coming for your spot. This podcast will be on the beat at Indiana, reporting from inside the locker room, outside the locker room, everywhere across Bloomington. So your time's a ticking, Jeffrey. So get ready. But I think we should talk about people that we want to return.
No,
I think we
100%.
should.
I have two more losers though.
Oh, true.
I think the idea of a home run hire is a huge loser. What is a home run hire? Because, like, we've beat to death. Like,
It would be
you can't.
getting Scott Drew
No.
and
But I
Nick
know. But,
Cronin.
like, a home run hire is like somebody who's going to win a national title. Well, you're not going to know until that happens. And so it's like
And we're
to
not hiring someone who's already won a national title.
so
You know what I
like
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I get it, but like the fact that it's like it may be a slightly disappointing hire, quote unquote, because of like where expectations started versus like how about it's like, did we hire a capable guy who can win basketball games in Indiana? I think the answer is yes. So I just the whole like it has to be a home run or it's a failed search thing to me is a huge loser.
yeah, I agree. Sorry, I was muted, but I totally agree. I mean, time will tell. Like you said, a home run hire is a coach that's going to win the national championship. So there's either coaches that have or the coaches that haven't, right? So if we're hiring a coach that haven't won a national championship, which is, 95% of coaches, then
More than
people are going to be like, yeah, exactly. People are going to be like, oh, well, he hasn't reached full success, blah, blah, blah. Or if we're not going to be able to hire a guy that's already won a natty. So, you know, home run hire, so dumb. I hate the term, right? I even saw Fanta do a video, and I love Fanta, but it's like,
yeah.
dude, you're using these buzzwords. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense. Like, expectations for a program that's not nationally relevant, according to so many, all of these national guys seem to love getting their their grubby little mitts all over every story that comes out of Bloomington
Yeah,
because,
another
and I,
huge loser is that
like,
Indiana isn't nationally relevant.
yeah,
The big
exactly. But
loser.
also, we ended up with DeVries, so it's like we're not as nationally relevant as we think. It's interesting, but no, I mean, I agree, dude. I
I
totally
think I
agree.
think I think it's that balance of like relevant and then it's like it's completely different from like what's a realistic hire. like where we actually like Mick Cronin's not leaving in UCLA. I talked to I actually ran into an Iowa State donor at St. Patty's Day, and he was telling me TJO will never leave Iowa State. Like he will never leave. Like it's one of those things. Like if you thought Grant McCaslin was never leaving, it's more than that. It's yeah. So just like who can we get? It's I don't know. Brad Brunell's leaving. I mean, he might.
He would have left. He would
Yeah,
have left.
maybe.
That guy would be begging at the
Yeah, he
door
might be at
of Scott
Villanova
Wilson's
tomorrow. I don't know.
house.
That's my last huge loser, and that'll lead us into kind of the final candidates and expectations for the hire. But Brownell got absolutely crushed by the fan base. Like when it was floated that like he might be the guy, it was like you want to talk about like the most united you've seen the fan base in a long time. It was like everyone collectively went like absolutely not. And like I wasn't one of those people. Like Burnell was actually 8 on the board. Brad said we wasted a bunch of time on, but like if you look at his resume, like it stacks up. But the way the majority of the fan base immediately and so aggressively said no to Brownell, it like almost like I don't know if he was like it seems like he was in that final 3, but he was never going to be in that actual real final discussion. And if he was about to put pen to paper, it was like no shot that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I was not a Brad Burnell guy. I will say that. I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm not gonna root for this team. But I definitely, I'm not jumping out of my seat for a Brad Burnell when we started this conversation at the names that we did.
Yeah. Brad Burnell was
And
on a
yeah,
clear, like different tier. Like we had the splashy names, the top 6, and then it was like TJO, who would be like, I think would be awesome. And then it was like Brad Burnell, Chris Collins, like Musselman. These guys are just like, like I don't know. Like if it actually happened, like like they met the criteria, but if like you just heard it out loud, like that's actually happening, you've just been like,
for me, he was
yeah,
even
it just
lower on
deep
my
fried, you know, it's
list.
just
Like he
like
was even lower on my list than DeVries.